Still not convinced?
Suppose I gotta pay for the operation.
A guy I know had to pay 2 million lira for the same kind of operation. And this doc that's better and more famous is going to cut my stomach out gratis? It must be Santa Claus.
There's still a few decent people in the world. And this doc's one up. He's got heart. And he won't be the first job he's done at no charge. All the guys that work in this foul part of town know they can run to him and get cured, whether they're broke or not. I mean, look at that. What's the sign say? Opera Pia, charitable works of the church. Why they do it's their business. What do you care? Come on. Remember, you got a family. Just think about getting well.
Everyone here's like you without a lira. It's sick inside. Way down where you don't see it.
Signora, it'll be your turn next.
Thank you.
I am completely satisfied with the patient, as I am with the nurse. You understand why you have to take this trip. But you have to leave without taking your worries along.
Cost me nothing, only she had it in her mind she shouldn't let me out of her sight even for a few days.
Few days, but now you're convinced it's all right.
Yes, Professor.
I warn you, you're in real trouble if I don't get a postcard. Ah, there you are. Medicine for your mama, and these vitamins for you. They'll make you smile again, and you're even prettier that way.
Professor? Professor, if you weren't so young, I'd say that you're a father for all of us. A father and a benefactor.
No, I'm a doctor, a simple medical man. Now you can go. New patient, nurse?
No, it's the Pauli boy you operated on a month ago. That's his hospital record, Professor.
Ah, yes. Well, send him in.
Thank you, nurse. Good morning, Professor.
Ah, good morning, Signora. All right, Giovanni. This time you didn't bring your little sister. How come?
She's not about to die like I might be.
Strip down, son. And you're not about to die anymore.
Still, I'm sicker than she ever was. Go on, hurry up, will you? We're wasting the professor's time.
How's he coming along, Signora? Exercising in the open air?
Well, he doesn't wheeze anymore or turn pale. He's a bit lazy, though.
As I recall, when you grow up, you want to be a police officer, but you won't get far in the police force if you're lazy.
Yeah, I know, but I had a better idea. I want to be a doctor.
What makes you want to become a doctor?
Well, I mean, so I could become important.
Important to others, I hope. I've told you before, the purpose of glass is to let you see what's outside, not make you guess. I couldn't care less whether it rains or snows. I want them clean. Is that clear?
I guess it's tiring wearing that halo. Always on Tuesdays. Same old story. The charity ward drives him up the wall, so he has to take it out on someone else.
Above all, it's an awful waste of his time.
You're right, doesn't earn a single lira. You know, I have a rotten character, so do-gooders arouse my suspicions. As number 2 here, you shouldn't risk life and limb like that.
Oh, go to hell.
With luck, I probably will. Ah, Betty, you forgot your apple.
What did you say?
Teacher's pet doesn't go to class without a big red apple.
Oh,
My dear Sister Celeste, in the clinic of the great Velotti, even the nurses must be uniformed, just so.
Dr. Giordani, I've noticed you only bring that up when our hands are full.
That's right.
morning,
Good morning.
Professor.
How are you feeling, Professor?
I'd feel better if certain of us did their jobs properly. But what are you doing here?
Nothing. The sister was just telling me that the reading matter in the waiting room is out of date.
Very observant. I want it kept up to date. Please see that it is.
Of course, Professor.
3 empty rooms, huh?
Bad planning. We had to release all 3 of those patients because they were completely cured.
Your pre-visit's done?
Of course.
I still have one patient to see.
Speed it up. I want to admit 3 new ones. Good morning, Tansy.
Good morning, Professor.
Don't tell me you've had to move mountains again.
Not big mountains, but procuring the precise detail you so rightly insist on and the secret information on your clients.
Come to the point, will you?
Guido Rovetti, the proprietor of numerous textile mills, checking account never below 100 million, blocks of apartments in Italy and abroad, a villa in Positano, a townhouse...
All right. Fill me in on the Baronessa Lanciani.
Oh, great connections all over the world. An authentic VIP. The usual itinerary of the jet set, the Bahamas, Saint-Tropez, Sardinia,
let's have the numbers.
Acapulco. Financially speaking, there's nothing spectacular. Checking account usually around 20-odd million. On top of that, she gets alimony from the Baron that she was married to. A nice round sum of $10,000 a month, which arrives punctually and...
Thanks. That's more than sufficient. Who else is there?
Onorato Marchetti. He's probably not our kind of client.
I can do without your comments. Come on, give me the rest.
Small businessman whose total income, including what his wife gets as a teacher, amounts to less than $300,000 a month. Bank balance $1.8 million. They got by mortgaging their apartment, which the Hall of Records lists as the Signora's.
They say that a lot of the biggest surgeons are too quick with the knife.
And I've been feeling better lately.
Our turn.
No, I'm afraid you'll still be some time. But why don't you read or go down to the bar? There's no use waiting here on pins and needles.
Thank you, Professor.
Doctor. The others are all professors.
And him, too?
He was born a professor.
I don't mean to question professional ability. Let's be honest, you could be as competent as the head man himself. Or even more. But I don't buy this system of preliminary examination.
It's the method which is now in use all over the world.
Double talk. Many things are done in this world that should never be permitted. I travel hundreds of miles to have Velotti examine me, and he sends his assistant instead.
I resent that, sir.
No, you mustn't resent it. You might be great, but you're not Velotti.
You'll see the professor.
Of course. What else can he do? I'm an important man. But he'll have to diagnose on the basis of data furnished by you. In other words, a diagnosis based on a pre-diagnosis. Next step is to fire the doctor and hire a robot.
Listen, Signor
You seem to
Ovetti.
have missed the point. It has nothing to do with you, so calm down.
It's you who obviously needs tranquilizers. And now Professor Velotti will give you a thorough examination. Personally. I can't seem to find Casati. That's an interesting occupation.
Trying to produce one worthy of you. Anything wrong?
A moron who doesn't like pre-examination.
You mean he expected Professor Velotti in person to ask him whether he'd ever had measles as a kid? Pretentious, these patients.
Are you trying to be funny?
Got it to you.
Look, I've no time for this crap.
He who understands crap understands himself.
The one thing it's impossible for me to figure out is why the professor puts up with you.
Well, don't ask me.
Just being medical school classmates isn't much of a reason.
You mean putting up with a brother-at-arms out of pure magnanimity? No, no one would. Certainly not Velotti. A motive is what we need, right? Let's say because I don't cost much. Or maybe it's because I'm not such a bad surgeon. And maybe when you put the two things together, I'm a good package deal.
Giordani,
Sure, coming.
it's Baroness Lanciani. Her spleen's bothering her.
Spleen, eh?
Yes, it seems to me that there's clear signs of enlargement over here. I haven't absolutely made up my mind about it, but I think Betty will go along with what I'm saying.
Sure, enlargement.
Professor, if you don't operate, she'll find someone else. That old girl's too stubborn to accept refusal. She's surgeon resistant.
Luigi Rovetti, eh?
This one's a beauty. It's good enough to use in one of your lectures. Those are boulders, not gallstones. Lovely.
Very pretty. Is this Marchetti?
It was Giordani I saw him.
Where is Giordani?
Most likely in the bar.
I was in the bar. It's the healthiest place around here. Here's the analysis of the tests on Marchetti. As you know, it's a sad case. Still, I think if you operated immediately, you might get a positive result.
Come in here a minute, will you, please?
Yes, Professor.
Oh, Giordani. Just a minute. This Marchetti is too poor. It's an expensive operation. I mean, he'd have to run up huge debts. It wouldn't be fair to him. You'll have to discourage him. Suggest someone else, Terrani, Berni. Tell him anything. I'll leave it up to you. Hmm? Here. Take these estimates over to the accounts department.
Right away, Professor. What does it matter what it costs?
Why spend so much money when Bernie costs less?
Doctor, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm sure you'll tell me the truth. In a case like this, what's the difference between the doctors? I mean, all these specialists. Is one man better than all the others?
Signora Marchetti, I can only tell you that personally, I let only Velotti do this kind of an operation.
With this spleen of mine, I've had to visit every doctor in the whole of this civilized world. I picked a name for it, too. Bibi, Brigitte Bardot, because it's always being pinched and photographed. Some of them won't have it out. Others say leave it. So long as it doesn't degenerate, be patient. Be patient, they say. So far, that's all I've been. The whole point is that I have to put up with it. And I feel stupid not doing anything about it, when it's possible for me to reactivate the enormous vitality I always had. Or do you think it's too late to do anything? That there's no chance of a recovery? That I finally reached my Waterloo?
You want to make me say, what an attractive young lady, which you know you are. But in this pilgrimage of yours, Why am I the last?
That's an unfair accusation. I met you 2 years ago, last fall, at Fefe Lanciani's. Of course, you have forgotten. But I haven't. Valotti is not the kind of man one forgets about. But on that evening, all you had to tell me and my spleen was a couple of very silly jokes.
You must forgive me. I'll have to do something to make up for it.
I should hope so.
Dear lady, vitality is important to a woman like you. It's not only a right, it's an obligation. But to regain it, I'm going to ask you to sacrifice.
Bibi?
Precisely.
Sister Maria, you're like a doctor almost. You know what's going on. Do you really think I'm getting better or not?
I'm sorry. It's absolutely forbidden for the nurses to discuss your condition with you. You wouldn't want me to break the rules. But it's all right if I say that I'm talking to a lady who's looking 100 times healthier than she was. And who'll be back looking after her grandchildren before long. Anyway, it's almost time for the professor's visit. See what he thinks.
You're sweet and patient. Of course he's the one I should ask. Can I have my mirror and lipstick now? You know, when you reach a certain time of life, it's most important for a woman to make the best of herself. Thank you, dear.
We'll look in on you later.
Please do.
Whenever they're expecting to see the professor, they dress up as if they had an appointment with a movie star.
An appointment with Providence would be more like it. That's the relationship between doctor and patient. They're the real bosses, by the grace of God, nationalized medicine. And they'll remain the bosses under every type of government, with the new reforms or without.
All the patients pay a fortune in here. That means they have a right to insist on what they want.
But they're afraid to complain. Oh, they're better off than the poor, but not much. Rich or poor, they're all alike.
What's that mean?
That they're dependent. Which is fine if the doctor's conscience is pure and clean. The way Professor Valotti always wants the windows.
His conscience is. He believes in hard work and strict discipline. Remembers to set an example. And besides that, he's so fascinating, it's impossible not to feel it. I almost forgot. You prefer Giordani. And he isn't even a professor.
He obviously could have become one if he'd cared to.
He's rather strange. Doesn't seem to care about the usual things. Maybe it's just that he was disappointed in love.
Well, there's no doubt that love disappoints a lot of us.
I forgot you studied philosophy.
Only psychology.
Can you explain what Giordani drinks so much for?
He doesn't before operating.
But he's drinking more lately. Why?
It's very simple. He must enjoy it.
Self-destruction.
Never say that.
It's easy to make a mistake in a case that's so complicated. What's your opinion, De Luca?
I've examined the tests and x-rays, and I'm more or less of the same opinion as Betty, but I still don't feel absolutely certain of the diagnosis.
And you, Betty?
For me, it's obviously angina pectoris.
Ah, and here's Giordani. What do you think?
He hasn't seen the tests yet.
Keep your tests. I've seen the patient. In my opinion, it's a case of false angina due to nerves, or in part, to a sluggish gallbladder.
Uh-huh. I think I'll go along with Giordani.
Dr. Giordani. Dr. Giordani. The patient in 23 has suddenly gotten worse.
Who was on duty this morning?
Professor De Luca.
Is the patient's wife here?
Yes, but not at the moment. She went to make a call.
We'll do everything to keep her from coming back before Professor Valotti has seen the patient.
Yes.
Would you mind telling me why he wasn't given a transfusion?
There was no blood available. He's B negative.
Well, I'll soon do something about that.
Listen, you better do something about the patient in 23.
What's wrong?
He's on his way out.
I told you. You had to watch his heart. And not only his liver. Apparently you don't realize. No one dies at my clinic. You hear? No one, understand? Who has a pen? These injections should do the trick. Alternate hourly. Tonight he should be able to move. And tomorrow, before midday, he goes home.
Professor!
Yes?
Is something the matter? Is my husband all right?
Just the usual reaction, that's all. Something we expected. Nothing to worry about. Perfectly normal. The operation went remarkably well, and the result has been extremely gratifying. We've all been impressed with your husband's recovery, and tomorrow he'll be home with you in time for lunch.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm so delighted to hear it. I don't know how to thank you.
Oh, don't forget, I'm turning him over to his cardiologist. He's an excellent physician. Your husband has a bad heart. He needs looking at.
Yes, I know. Thank you, Professor.
And I thought it was extremely serious. I must have been completely mistaken.
No, Sister Maria. You were not mistaken.
But tomorrow morning he gets discharged.
That's only a milk stop before he buys his ticket on the main line. Sister Maria, is it possible you haven't yet realized that no one catches an express train for Paradise from this station?
Professor.
Are you two still here? I thought Giordani had made it clear
Only
that...
you can operate on my husband. I wouldn't feel safe with anyone but you.
But I wanted to save you such a great expense, you see.
We're not worried about that. With the money we have in the bank and the loan my husband's family has promised us, that'll make the 4 million lira.
It's a lot of money, but you're the doctor I have faith in.
Oh, what's his 4 million? It was only 2, and even less if necessary. What are you doing, my dear? Now go along and rest. Get ready for tomorrow. I'll take care of everything.
Thanks.
Did Rovetti and Baroness Lanciani pay their bills before they left the hospital?
No, sir, they didn't.
Give me their accounts. And you must always keep in mind that everything which you have learned in medical school can one day help you to alleviate a pain of some sort, to cure an illness, to contribute in some way or another to the saving of a human life. The work of a doctor must never suffer the degradation and the shame that will result should he pursue lucrative ends. You should always serve with the same zeal the rich and the poor, the mighty and the humble. Let us recall that suffering annuls all castes and makes us equal.
Professor, look. I think every one of us is in agreement with what you are saying. But in practice, what can we do? We graduate from here with a degree, but without enough experience to know what a common head cold looks like.
Remember that I was one of the first people to fight for reforms in our universities.
Even if we do get them, is that going to keep us from knocking at 100 doors for a job that won't even earn us enough to eat if we get it?
And when we land a job, how can we get anywhere in medicine? The barons won't let us advance professionally.
The barons will never let the health law reforms go through!
I hope you don't apply that infamous title of nobility to me. If reform of the universities is important, that of the health laws is indispensable. If it is entire and completely unambiguous.
Medicine must follow party lines.
Try to cure a tumor by reading the maxims of Mao. Should you succeed, I'll be the first to put down my scalpel and march in the Red Guards with you.
Doctors and nurses don't have the right to strike. They're murderers. They're causing deaths every day. They're murderers.
They also throw all of you down in a hole and leave you there to die!
How do you expect anyone to work in these...
It's all going to end at 12 o'clock. They've reached some sort of compromise in the commission, I hear. The government has promised to get the health reform through Parliament before going on vacation.
Let them put it through, and then they'll see how many of us will stay around to practice in a shitty country like this one is.
What reforms are you talking about? The Christian Democrats would prefer to see every industry in the country nationalized, rather than take the hospitals out of the hands of church organizations. Reforms.
My husband's going to die if he doesn't have transfusions! I paid 200,000 lira for blood on the black market, do you hear? 200,000 lira! I went and bought the blood where the nurses told me to buy it, and they got a cut of it! They got a profit! traitors!
Come on. What's so funny? What is there to laugh about? It's disgraceful to hear a woman shouting in public that nurses are charging money for blood for transfusions.
Professor, how am I supposed to avoid this? Donors are scarce these days.
Fabiani, you're the director of the blood bank, and you know better than I that donors can always be found. Why don't you just admit that many nurses are forced by your personnel to lend themselves to this despicable traffic? You're going to try to tell me I'm wrong?
Why are you saying this to me?
Because the nurses pay a percentage, you see, on what they take. I got the proof. Whom do they pay it to, Fabiani? Huh?
Professor, should I resign my post?
Oh, come now, let's not make a drama of it. I know perfectly well that your daughter's wedding is going to cost you a lot of money. We're aware of it. But be careful, huh? An inquiry might cause you to be expelled from the medical association. But we'll avoid that.
I'll be eternally grateful to you, Professor.
We don't have to talk about the future. We can talk about the present. This morning, I didn't have any B-negative blood. That won't happen again, eh, Fabiani?
Of course it won't, Professor Valotti. So that's what he's driving at. That big son of a bitch.
We did everything possible. I'm sorry.
No! You could have saved him. But instead you let him die. Oh! Oh!
Oh! What's going on here?
As a result of the 3-day strike, one of the patients is struck forever.
Why don't they take him away? Valotti's about to begin his rounds, and I want everything in order.
You hear that? Clear out all cadavers, garbage, and urinals.
Excuse me, Professor. The other ward's already in order.
We'll begin in there, then.
Yeah.
Gaba, go on ahead and see if the operating rooms are ready. I want you to check the stretchers.
Yes,
There'll
Professor.
be at least 20 operations. And I bet I'll have to perform 10.
Your fine Italian hand can do that many?
Oh, I'm ambidextrous.
Ambi-jerk.
Hey, how many times do I have to tell you to turn that radio off? The professor will be here in a second.
Did he ask you to call the band out?
Well, look at you. I buy you a new pair of pajamas and you get them dirty just when the professor is coming to see you.
How are we getting on this morning?
All right.
Has the pain in your shoulder gotten any better?
Yes.
We'll continue with the same injections every other day and double the dose of Vitalina.
Mama, please remember, don't make a mistake like you did last time and call him doctor.
Isn't he a doctor?
Oh, Mama, please keep things straight. He's also professor, and you call him professor.
All right, we'll operate today, but first an electrocardiogram.
Please leave me alone. I've got a headache. What's my hair got to do with
If your
things?
hair's well combed when the doctor sees you, you'll get much more attention from him. You'll see.
No. The liver function tests indicate it's clearly the liver that has to be taken care of and not the stomach. So, give her neocytamin, 1,000 in the morning. Write it down. And after meals, citrapatina. At night,
Vitalina.
That's right, 2 tablets. Why, do you find the effects of Vitalina not very good?
What do you mean? It's a cure-all.
This Vitalina of yours is worthless. It's just another duplication. It's like 1,000 other pharmaceutical elixirs that are on the market today.
Professor Valotti, my firm has already invested a lot of money in Vitalina. If you don't sign a favorable report on my product to submit to the Ministry of Health, do you realize what I'm in for? Put yourself in my place.
Oh, no, let's put you in mine. Look, in Italy, there are more than 1,000 pharmaceutical manufacturers, and they bombard us with 200,000 products without any experimental value because they are tested on guinea pigs and not on chimpanzees.
No pharmaceutical industry has chimpanzees, Professor.
And obviously you think I've got hundreds. Just give me one good reason why I should consider any of my patients as chimpanzees.
Here's a check for 80 million lira. You could use it to buy the latest equipment, or you could use it for research in this hospital or anywhere else. Everyone knows how unselfishly you're dedicated to medical research, and that's why I'm going to leave it up to you to use the check exactly as you prefer. How, when, and where. And in order not to limit you in any way, I've made it out to the bearer.
Oh, Loris, have you finished your report on Vitalina?
I'd already finished the tests, Professor, but I found some more articles on it in foreign medical journals.
What articles?
On similar products.
Let me see them.
They were taken off the market in Switzerland and Germany. They have side effects due to a substance that also occurs in Vitalina.
What if they were? Even if it hurts the Swiss and the Germans, it doesn't mean it hurts the Italians. We have a different climate, a different rhythm of life. Come now, Loris, let's be serious. It all depends on how the drug is used. I think you've just done a little too much reading. Bear that in mind and have the report ready for tomorrow morning. Can you do that?
If I stay up on that, Professor.
Good.
I'm not worried because I know who's doing your operation. Velotti. You know who he is, Velotti, eh?
If I'd known I'd be operated on by Velotti, I wouldn't have spent my money making a goddamn will. I would have got a couple of tickets for the soccer on Sunday.
Oh, you'll see the game anyhow. And for once, I'll go with you.
You tried to keep me from knowing the truth, but I was pretty sure there'd have to be an operation eventually. But if something should happen, find somebody to look after the babies. You have to go off to work, and they're still so helpless.
Thanks to Velotti, you'll be all right. I can feel it. And you'll be back home before you know it.
I'm afraid. I'm scared of operations, son. Take me back home again.
But you'll be sleeping, Pa. You won't feel anything once they put you under.
But that's the part that frightens me most. You mean I won't know what's happening, will I?
Don't take it so big, Pa. The whole thing will be over in no time.
That's what you say.
You haven't any idea how lucky you are, Marco. Dr. Natali talked to him, and he said the professor promised that he would operate on you personally.
And remember, when you get out of here, I'm going to buy you that bike you want.
Really, Dad?
I promise.
I didn't even write a letter to the folks.
It would have only made Ma and Pa more worried. Why should you? You're in good hands. It took this operation, didn't it, to finally make us see how much we really mean to each other.
Beatty, you watch Donati and Fresca.
Yes, sir.
And you keep an eye on Manzoni and Pavani. They're still pretty green. Sure. I'll keep an eye on everyone.
Right. You take that kidney operation, Giordani.
Have you got my glasses, Johnny?
Yes, Professor, they're right here.
The patient ready, nurse?
Yes, Professor. He's under anesthetic.
What are you waiting for? How about the others?
Professor Beatty is waiting for you to do that reopening job.
Hold it open. Wider. Wider. Coagulate.
What about that anastomosis?
I haven't finished dissecting it yet, Professor. Dampen.
When you free the stomach, call me.
Deeper.
Kelly. Suction. Coagulate.
Find anything, Giordani?
This damn bladder is full of stones. I think we should explore the bile duct. It looks too big.
Sure does. But call me before you proceed any further.
Right. Suction.
Good morning.
Good morning, Professor.
Everything ready? Scalpel.
Keep those retractors steady.
Let's get it.
All right. Dry in. You carry on with the opening. I'll be back.
Yes, Professor.
Coagulate.
What the hell are you chopping at?
The left kidney.
It's the right one that has to come out, you idiot. Suction.
What's wrong?
Slight case of mistaken identity. Suction.
I didn't even write to the folks.
It would have only made Ma and Pa more worried, and why should you? You're in good hands. You don't know how lucky you are. The professor promised that he would operate on you personally. It took this operation to make us see how much we really mean to each other.
I was pretty sure there'd have to be an operation eventually. But if something happens, find someone to look after the babies. You have to go off to work, and they're still so helpless.
Coagulate. He's losing lots of blood. Keep it open, will you?
Doctor, over here. Scissors.
Coagulate. Hurry up with that tampon. Small coker. Scissors. Suction. Hold it open.
Deeper here. What's wrong with you? Get a tampon in there. Tampon, deep. Suction as much as possible. Stay here with those tampons, will you?
Don't you have any idea where all that blood's coming from?
Well, to tell the truth.
Get out of the way. Gauze. Dry him. Dry him. What the hell do you think you're doing? Give me all the gauze you've got. More gauze here. Suction. Where the devil's that other aspirator?
It doesn't work, Professor.
Doesn't anything ever work around here? Damn it, I can't see a thing. Get another tampon. There, see? Lacerations on the spleen. It'll have to come out.
Coagulate. Suction.
Scissors. Separate. Right. Suction. Suction! Get your hand out of the way. Kelly clamp.
That does it.
Coagulate. Suction. Forceps. Daniele. You take over.
Good evening, Professor.
Evening. Thanks. Oh, I thought you were a Christmas tree. You're blinding me. Don't you think you've got a little too much jewelry on? You really went all out, didn't you?
Better too much, I always say. Are you tired, Daniele?
No.
And the pains in your neck?
Oh, off and on.
Now, you really ought to take up a sport. The tennis court is wasted.
The time, Mama. Where do I find it?
You've got to.
Did you win at Canasta?
Oh, that Carla Sariotti drove me crazy.
Oh, really? She played that badly?
Now, do you know what she wanted? For me to tell you about her brother's symptoms.
Yeah, it's not the first time your friends tried to get a free diagnosis.
The way they took advantage of your father.
Oh, sure. He was one of the most esteemed men in the profession.
Oh, by all means. And certainly the greatest of his admirers were all those hundreds of patients who never even considered the idea of paying him. The man was a saint. He wouldn't think of asking for it. Oh, no, not him.
Mm-hmm. Do I hear a note of disapproval?
You know how I feel. He had no right to be so generous with others and then leave a young wife with no money at all.
Mm-hmm. And with, as I recall, a little baby to raise.
Oh, no fair taking advantage of me that way.
Oh, if I can't tickle my mother, who can?
Oh, Ricky's anxiously waiting to see you. He's getting so big, that boy. His mother's gone. The boy needs pampering.
He has you to do that.
It's not the same thing. I'm not his mother, but you are his father.
Okay, Papa, tell me another.
Okay, but it's the last one. What's the difference between an architect, a cook, and a doctor?
I don't know.
The architect hides his errors under plaster, the cook under mayonnaise.
And the doctor?
Underground.
Papa, I always have more fun with you than with my friends, but I never see you anymore.
If you're good, I promise we'll pack up and take a vacation.
Just the two of us? You mean it? Where?
This time, let's do it differently. You be the one to say. That's it. It's up to you. Name it. Africa, America, Asia.
Just some place where no one can call you for an operation. A place without a telephone.
Okay. Now I want you to say your prayers. In bed. Tomorrow you have to go to school. There.
Night, Papa.
All it takes is an hour at home to feel like a new man. All over again. Anything I ought to read in today's mail?
No, nothing so important that I can't take care of it.
Including the one you're hiding there? I'll bet it's Ricky's report card.
Please, don't, please.
Bad conduct again, huh?
Look, I told you it's nothing, Daniele.
What is
How
this?
stupid. I should have thrown it in the trash can. It's the only place for anonymous mail. You were in such a good mood. That ruined your evening.
Oh, why? I mean, it's better to be aware there's a spy.
I don't want you to worry about it.
I won't. Go to bed now. All right.
My good son.
Good night. Well?
They're not in the files, Professor.
It's not possible, Leia.
All right, you can go. Someone gets away with more than a dozen X-rays, and still you insist it's impossible.
It's never happened before.
It's happened now! And whoever took those X-rays didn't do it as a joke. Understand, Casati? Or would you prefer not to?
But you're suggesting that one of your very own staff...
Just find my X-rays. You better quit worrying so much about the money you lose at cards and begin worrying about your job. A word to the wise.
Do you think it seems strange that Piero and I love each other as much as when we married 10 years ago? I mean that we, both of us, only feel complete when we're together. I've got to go. I'll come back as soon as there's any news of the operation. I leave you in good hands.
Will you get that out of my way?
I'm sorry, sir.
Suction. Go on. Hold it open.
Are the blood vessel instruments ready?
Yes, sister.
Good. I think they'll be needed.
Coagulate. How much have you got on the knife?
4, Professor.
I'll put it on 3.
Yes, sir.
Coagulate. So, Danny, suction. Suction! But don't get it in my way. Suction. Will you hold it open? Coagulate. Suction. Coagulate. Again. Coagulate. Betty, if you don't keep that gauze out of the way, how can I work? Coagulate, nurse. Hold that retractor steady. What's wrong with you? Suction.
Professor, you want it on the phone.
Are you serious? Gauze.
It's your lawyer. He says it's very urgent.
Tell him to call back. Can't you hold still?
They said it would only take 2 hours. Why is it going on so long? There are no complications, are there?
No, really. It's going very well. It's just hard to say how long an operation like this will take. You understand?
Thank you. Sister, 00 silk.
Coagulate. Again. Again, nurse.
Professor, your lawyer's outside. He insists it's urgent.
Take over, Betty. Donati, what the hell could be important enough to interrupt me in the middle of an operation?
Extremely urgent. You know I never would have disturbed you, Professor. You are in trouble with your taxes. They insist your earnings were vastly higher than you declared. But we have a friend in the commission, and I'm sure that if we try...
How much?
My guess is that 10 million lira would be more than enough.
Pay it then. What are you waiting for?
Our friend also thinks that you personally should have a chat with the Minister of Finance.
That's easy. Get me 812-917.
So, Danny, this doesn't make any sense. I can't stop this hemorrhage. Plant. Perhaps we'd better go call the professor.
All right, I'll go get him. You take my place here. Professor.
What's happening?
All I know is he's hemorrhaging.
I thought I'd better call you just in case.
Professor.
Yes, I thought you'd understand. If by any chance another copy shows up, you'll take care of it, won't you?
Velotti.
Thanks. Ciao. What is it?
Bad hemorrhaging.
Well, can't Betty?
No, and you better hurry.
I can't do the hemostasia, Professor Valotti. I can't stop the bleeding.
You can't do a fucking thing, can you? You're putting stitches into parenchyma. You'll never stop blood that way. Suction. Don't you recognize a laceration when you see one? Give me that. We'll have to do a resection.
Professor, his pulse has stopped.
How much blood has he had?
Just finishing the first transfusion.
Give him another.
Professor, the heart is stopped.
Christ. Massage the heart, Betty. Massage the heart. Keep it up.
Yes, sir.
Nurse, give me adrenaline. Immediately. Hurry up with that. All right, hold it.
He's not responding at all, Professor.
Continue the massage.
It isn't true. It isn't true. I can feel it isn't. I don't believe it. No. No point living now, sister.
Good men shouldn't be lying there dead. Don's a phony! He's a phony! You don't mean that. You're a Catholic. No! No! God had no pity on me! You bastard God, you rotten son of a...
This is blasphemy, you evil creature. You'll burn in hell for it.
Go away, Mother. It is a much greater sin to show no Christian charity to anyone so desperate.
Signor Marchetti, Professor Valotti instructed me to return this check to you.
The money. Did you hear that? We got back our money. Did you ever hear anything so generous?
Well, whoever would have thought it? Sister Maria.
You sound almost surprised to see me here.
Oh, no. I was expecting a visit from the Good Samaritan. Come on in. I admit I could do with a little distraction. This way. Tell me why the Lord provides a nun for the house of a bachelor.
I can't stand disorder. Do you mind if I clean up the worst of the mess in here?
Burn the place. It doesn't matter to me. But it's hardly worth the effort. It'll be just as messy again tomorrow. Disorder begins inside and spreads outside. I don't mind. I'm resigned to it.
Beginning with the outside is at least a beginning. Don't you have a woman that comes in?
Woman? Dozens of women. Only in the plural. Briefly and without obligation. I have no need for anything permanent.
You have one big need, a cup of hot coffee, black as the devil.
Thanks just the same. I got coffee coming out of my ears. All I need is a little more time to get hold of myself.
Fortunately, there was a lot of traffic, so I got here rather late.
Why did you come?
For 2 whole days now, you haven't gone near the clinic. I could imagine what your reaction had been when you heard the news.
Of the insane gesture of Signora Marchetti. I suppose they have to fall back on that useful adjective, insane. The truth is that I convinced Marchetti to go under the knife, and you knew it, didn't you? It's quite a touching scene you created around that. The poor doctor, conscience-stricken, uptight with guilt, desperate. Another weak human being, overwhelmed by remorse that's unjustified, seeks to find in alcohol escape from himself. Isn't that right?
Perhaps.
Only it's false. Because it's only that I'm sick of filth. Filth in everyone and everything. Fed to the teeth with a daily existence that's based on profiting from the rottenness in the world around us. I admit that this disgust has nothing in it of the sublime. I'm not afflicted with remorse only because I don't have a conscience. And between these crises of rejection, refusal, I manage as well as anybody. That's the way I see it. What's your story? That Christian charity routine doesn't convince me for a second. I want to know why you came.
Why, sympathy. Recall the Greek origin of that word? Together, it means.
Beautiful. No objection to that. Cynicism shatters itself against sincerity. Period. Pity is that none of this serves to straighten me out.
Does that serve to lift your morale?
No. It serves my weakness for bad company.
I had the presumption to think that there was a chance I could compete with that. But the results are anything but encouraging.
Your being in this house gives me great pleasure.
You managed to cover it up well.
I don't mean only right now. It's nearly 2 years that I've seen you every day. And each time I felt that same sensation of happiness. You see, the results, on balance, are extremely positive. He was the only other one who ever had that kind of claim on me. But a year ago, he left the house to pick up the morning paper and has never been seen since. I suppose he chose liberty. You, however, have chosen this. May I ask you a personal question?
Spare me that. It's the same old question men ask prostitutes as well as nuns. But why? Why did you take this road? There's a tendency to redeem the prostitute and to corrupt the nun. Funny, I guess it's because we're women who live outside the so-called normal relations.
It couldn't happen to you. You're a very exceptional woman.
You're being generous. Anyway, if you insist on unveiling the mysteries of my vocation, don't be led astray with the usual delusions. On the contrary, in my case, it was and is a grand illusion. That of always remaining at the complete disposition of our Lord.
You really think God exists?
Dr. Giordani, your logic is so disarming.
You can also get sarcastic.
No, that's your specialty, in which you excel.
Am I badly mistaken, or do you have a weakness for me?
You're mistaken. I feel much more than that for you. Curiosity, sympathy, and a very strong attraction.
In that case, why don't you use its right name?
No, it's gone out of style. And what's more, it's extremely risky.
But we could share togetherness. And so why don't you...
Throw my arms around your neck in a real stranglehold?
It's my dream, Maria.
If only. No, it's useless. For you, it's just a matter of an intermezzo between one crisis and another of your refusal to sell out. For me, it'd be disaster. Any mistake that's deliberate and conscious demands repentance, and I have no intention of being a penitent for the sentiments my heart feels.
Sister Maria, I thank you humbly. You'll never know how much.
It would please me a lot, and I know you'd find it difficult. But would you please not drink, at least for a week?
Promise. For an entire week, I won't drink. Here's to abstinence.
Good morning.
Good morning. Has Professor Calogeri been here long?
Only a few minutes, Professor.
What am I to think when my husband unexpectedly turns peacock-colored? There's evidently a malfunction of the coronary. Or am I wrong? And when not once but repeatedly I happen to hear him emit those... Excuse the vulgarity. Those fantastic regurgitations of air from the mouth. Well, I ask you, and a gentleman, what other explanation is there then? Atony of the digestive tract. Or am I wrong?
I hope you'll excuse me for butting in.
Go ahead, please, Doctor.
Well, I've known the patient for years. As a modest man, I hesitate to brag. And only the fact that I was always his physician allows me to say that In my opinion, he's strong as a longshoreman.
Be quiet, please. I brought these two important men here for a consultation. Certainly not to listen to your unfounded optimism that would like to ignore certain facts that are causing me terrible anguish.
For me, it's certainly enviable.
You said enviable?
What are you talking about?
Well, my husband suffers from frequent immense erections,
Well,
for which there is a precise scientific name, priapism, from Priapus, the ancient phallic god. You think this malady should be ignored. I don't. I who read all, yes, all the important medical journals published here and abroad and understand every word.
Well, we'd better see the patient, eh?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what kind of diagnosis you gentlemen are going to come up with, but one thing is certain. My wife is mad. M-A-D. She's got a fixation about sickness. Peacock-colored. Makes me laugh. If my lips are stained after I drink a glass or two of wine. Secretly, I mean, because she read that wine is bad for me. The belching. Of course. I sneak down to the pantry in the middle of the night and fill up on a couple of sausages or whatever I can find. Well, I have to. She keeps me on cornmeal mush and carrot juice. Then there's that story of priapism. Come on, we're all men, aren't we? And although I'm pushing 60, it doesn't say that I can't go hunting anymore. It's like, well, my land is full of wildlife. Well, Christ, if I go hunting and see a big pheasant, what do? I go bang, huh? If not, what am I carrying a gun for? And if instead of a pheasant I see an obliging young girl, do I push her away? No, I go bang. Otherwise, what am I doing with this tool that's following around?
Excuse me, but I just remembered some more symptoms.
Later, please, Signora. Now it's necessary for my colleague and me to consult. In here. You're wondering why I asked you to meet me here for a consultation. It wasn't to spend a day in the country. No.
I didn't imagine it was. Do you mind explaining?
Calogero, you're still hostile. You've been hostile ever since I had them install the artificial kidney at Polyclinic to be used by Dr. Edzina, who's capable of making it function safely.
Yes, only I have a private clinic, which is also equipped with one, and you were informed of it. Who will spend $500,000 to be treated by me when they can get it? Yes, for 50,000 lira in a public hospital. You cost me half the kidney cases that used to come to me. Why wouldn't I be hostile?
But there are means and means. And your whispering campaign to run me down violates all professional ethics. I am also aware that you loaned money to my radiologist, Casati. Why?
Friend of mine?
Very generous on your part, really. It's probably never occurred to you that a frank conversation between us could eliminate our differences. With all this agitation for reform in the air, we have difficult times ahead. Unity among ourselves is our first duty. And I don't think that apparatus should be allowed to stand in its way.
Can I count on it being removed from the Polyclinic?
The solidarity between us, my dear Calogero, forms the essential base for the development of our work.
I'm grateful, but we haven't even spoken about the patient.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll take care of it. I repeat, my dear, it's nothing alarming. Relax, relax. But examination of the complexities of the symptomatology of your husband indicates it's necessary to admit him to my colleague's private hospital, so we can eventually decide whether surgery is required.
Tomorrow I'll deliver him safely into your hands.
Any flight, before evening. Where it goes doesn't matter, as long as there are pretty girls there. But a long way away, where she'll never find me.
Take the time to think about this, Enrico.
For 20 years, I've thought of nothing else. Do you have the slightest idea how I yearn to get out of the clutches of that mad woman I'm married to?
I'm well aware how important it is for you to get out of the clutches of those two barons.
Hey, where are you going?
My son's very sick.
Well, take him to the polyclinic. There's no beds here.
At Polyclinic, they sent us here. My boy will die if
Then
he
go to
doesn't
San
get in.
Camilo. I tell him I'll go here.
Do you have medical aid?
Yes, my husband's with the electric company.
Oh, so's my brother.
Maybe they know each other.
Where's he go?
Urology. One moment, Senora.
What is it?
You have to make out the entry form.
Listen, sorry, but can't that be taken care of later?
No, regulations. Here, fill this out. Give it to me. Name?
Who's...
Your son. Name, surname, date, and place of birth.
No, I won't do it.
But, Senora!
I've got to be with my baby. You ought to know that.
But, Senora!
Yes? Oh, this is for you. It was left on my desk, and I opened it without noticing it was addressed to you. Sorry.
Well, who delivered it? Didn't come in the mail. Who left it on your desk?
What's the matter? Is it important?
No, simply that I don't approve of carelessness. A letter of mine being delivered to your desk. You know who's been in your office?
De Luca, Betty, Loris.
And that Zena. Huh?
Ah, yes. And he's furious because they're packing up the artificial kidney to ship it off to another hospital.
That poor boy wouldn't be dead if we'd been able to get this back in operation in time.
I will not tolerate your arrogant tone, Dr. Zena. Not to mention your presence in my department.
If you mean you're transferring me, you don't need to bother. I've already decided to go back to the United States. It's been obvious for some time. And in this country, there's no place for an Italian who specialized abroad on highly sophisticated apparatus you don't begin to know how to use. Actually, there are quite a few of these machines in Italy. But the number of technicians capable of operating them, you can count on the fingers of one hand. And most of those are in private clinics. Someone obviously doesn't want this apparatus available in ordinary hospitals where even the poorest patient can use it, which is why you've resented me ever since I first arrived in this town. And it's also why you've ordered this transfer to another hospital where there'll be no one who can operate it.
Delirium treatments. Whether you like it or not, you'll leave this hospital today, this minute. There's no place in my world for anyone who hides behind anonymous letters and phone calls.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I couldn't care less.
Anyone who would use such tactics would be too cowardly to admit it. Valotti.
First Marchetti, now this little boy. Will you be able to sleep tonight, Professor?
Operator, someone just called me on this extension. Was it an outside call?
No, Professor, or I would have handled it.
You can't tell what office phone?
No, sir. Internal calls don't go through the switchboard.
Prepare those 6 patients I said were ready for surgery. We'll operate tomorrow. Oh, Laurenti.
Good morning, Professor.
How are you? I suppose you're looking for a statement on the health law reforms. Tomorrow will be time for that.
Thanks, but that's not why I'm here. I got an entire page concerning you.
Let me see it.
Rather indiscreet, to say the least.
It's defamation.
Anyway, I was able to keep them from printing it.
Who was it that brought you the story?
I don't know. We got a lot of freelancers working for us.
You know if there's one called Loris? Marco Loris?
Loris? Oh, yeah, sure. Young, with glasses. But I can't tell you if it was him or not.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, Loris. It was you, wasn't it, who was telling me you had quite a family to support and needed more money?
Yes, Professor.
You see, I didn't forget it. I was thinking what I could do, Loris. I found a solution for your problem.
I work with you in surgery, sir?
That wouldn't pay you much money. I had a better idea. I'm going to introduce you to a colleague of mine in gynecology.
Please hurry. Please hurry. I'm losing all my blood.
You're not the only one in here. Anyway, if you had any brains, you wouldn't have gone to those old witches with their knitting needles and chicken bones.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, so young and me doing housework for other women so you can study to be a teacher.
I'm gonna turn her in. They can send me to prison, I don't care. Operating on you on her kitchen table. That's why she didn't want me in there when she was doing it.
How old's your first child?
3.5. The youngest is 2 months.
Quite a family.
2 million abortions are performed in Italy every year. And most of them are done by midwives, veterinarians, or witch women. And every Monday, I get dozens of women with a perforated uterus and a bad case of peritonitis. And what am I supposed to do? Just let them die? Huh? None of us can be emotional about his work, but there are cases in which even if you got the text of the anti-abortion law in place of a heart, you'll stay awake at night praying they'll repeal it.
Well, in my report to the coming National Medical Convention, I'll bring up the subject, too. Maybe we can get something moving.
At least they'll listen to you, maybe.
We'll get some action, don't worry. Loris, come here. Professor Bonanni has promised me to put you to work. He's a man who doesn't spare himself and expects just as much from anyone who's working under him. Would you like to try?
If you say so.
Fine.
But Professor Valotti, I never intended to specialize in obstetrics. I could have made the same amount of money staying with you in surgery.
Consider that with a few days of practice, you can begin taking private patients, and without leaving the hospital, naturally. If you're prudent, you could earn a nice little sum of money in a month or two.
But abortion's illegal.
Who said it was legal? Neither is revolution legal. Nor, as far as I can tell, is the freedom of speech and opinion guaranteed us by our Constitution, but which our legal code forbids us. Did you know that a few weeks ago, a lecturer on birth control was arrested?
Arrested?
Right. Surprised? I should imagine that for a young man like you to snatch a few lives from the hands of these witch women should lie too heavy on your conscience. Hypocritical morality closed up in its comfortable shell of conformism is not a pleasant sight.
I guess you're right, Professor. I'll do what you say.
Okay with you?
Wonderful, Ernesto, wonderful. That's what I want. A rotation of flowers according to the season. Very good.
Thank you, Professor.
Great White Chief's happy today.
It's about time. Morning, Professor.
There's a backlog of work we're going to take care of this morning.
Because I didn't know exactly how free you were. I wasn't able to...
Naturally. In fact, excuse me if recently there hasn't been the communication there used to be between us. But the fact is, I've been going through...
Some sort of difficulties?
Water under the bridge, no problem. Well, gentlemen, let's get to work. I'll join you in a minute. Close him up.
Right.
It was beautiful. Beautiful, the removal of those lymph nodes.
That man will never know how near he was to waking up dead.
You worked miracles today, Professor.
Especially since there was ventricular fibrillation to cope with.
It's an operation that'll go down in the history of medicine. My compliments.
In fact, that type between the lesion and the heart was just what we needed to see to solve our doubts about the X-ray findings. Professor, it's a pity we didn't film the operation.
What's really a pity is for me not to be able to enjoy your praise.
Would you like some coffee, Professor?
Yes, thank you, sister. Because one of you in here is trying to hurt me, trying to discredit me. You can be sure that if he succeeded, if I fell, I'd bring you all down with me. Because I know enough about each of you to ruin you.
Let he who is without guilt cast the first stone.
If you, as representative of the Ministry of National Health, report that ours is an attitude of obstructionism, I shall take it only as your opinion and absolutely arbitrary. For it should be understood that all my colleagues here present, as well as myself, are for a reform of the health laws, but only if it's total reform. And that means, first, the dismantling of the bureaucracy of the national insurance funds, which receive billions of lira each year. Then the abolition of the national church funds, which, let's admit it,
are nothing else but propaganda bureaus for the Christian Democrats. Thirdly, the conversion of all private hospitals to public. And finally, the nationalization of all pharmaceutical companies, over 1,000 in number. These only are the premises for any reform that's to be valid. But all this would require much too great an expenditure for a national budget so much in the red. Believe me, anything short of this is demagoguery, willful deceit of the nation.
You say we all ought to stick together because it's a tricky moment. Well, I say it's a dangerous moment, and the danger comes from right in our very midst, from some of our own colleagues.
What do you mean by that?
There are certain private facts concerning our profession that someone is using against us anonymously for the moment, yet clearly to intimidate us.
Do you think you could be blackmailed?
Not just me alone, but men like Tancredi, Bellonci, Farelli, Rovida, and a lot of others, too.
Then we'd better take action, Calogeri. Preventive action.
That's right, but how?
I'd say we have to reestablish our prestige in the eyes of the public. Ciao.
Professor Velotti, after he operated on my stomach and put me back on my feet, he didn't even ask me money for it.
Professor Velotti, we have heard through personal reports of patients a moving and dramatic testimony that is the highest recognition of your outstanding humanitarian feelings. Can you tell us whether this great example of generosity is followed by other famous doctors?
Oh, without a doubt it is. Without a doubt, my friend. And just like me, as you said, many of them are busy in every moment of their spare time and with a feeling of total disinterestedness, busy helping and not saving the lives of the very neediest.
Rh positive universal donor.
And if I may be permitted to speak for all of us doctors here, what we're trying to do is show that everyone must join in. It's an invitation to our younger colleagues to better express the categorical imperative of our profession and give humbly and silently, anonymously.
Ciao, Papa.
Ciao, Ricky. What have you got there?
I've picked the place we're going on our vacation.
Oh,
Look,
see.
they got everything.
Where is it? Oh, it's
Okay.
Switzerland. Hey, look at those mountains. You'll have to learn how to ski. It looks marvelous. We'll have to go over this together.
And it's so far away, no one's going to call you back.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you come in and let's look at the photos,
Can't
please?
wait.
Not now, Ricky. Not now, dear. Go to your room. Be a good boy. You'll find a new record in there I just bought for you, huh?
Is it underground?
You'll see.
What is it?
The magistrate at the police court telephoned. He said he wanted to see you. It's urgent.
All right.
I received it this morning. An accusation of malpractice, with ample evidence to support it.
Well, can't you just ignore it?
I'm afraid I'm not able to do that. I might try to stall it a day or two, while you try to get it withdrawn.
But it's anonymous, isn't it?
Oh, no. It's signed.
I want to get out. They're all crazy, but I'm saying I want to get out.
By getting 3 names on a petition, a man who's as sane as we are can be committed to this hell.
While he's a guest, he keeps a diary, and when he comes out, he's got a bestseller.
I didn't say he gets out. Because even if he is sane when he is committed, it's very likely he'll go mad.
I presume this is why you told the director to get lost?
I just want to keep the investigation objective. When they see their keeper, it disturbs their behavior patterns.
And you believe the threat of punishment will correct their behavior?
Just a few shocks at maximum voltage, and you can't remember a thing. You could never be a witness at a trial. You wouldn't even know who you are.
Erasing oneself from one's memory might be a solution to things.
Would you prefer this way of doing it?
No. It's bestial.
But the means are always justified when there is no escape at the end.
No! No! Please let me leave, for pity's sake. I tried to be good. Didn't I help wash the floors? I'll do anything you want.
You see, even though you may not know how it'll happen, when you have freedom in your bones, you'll always find a way out.
Door isn't afraid of your bones. It's solid.
About as impregnable as prison doors.
Why did you denounce me? You hate me because you're a failure.
No. It's got nothing to do with you personally. However, that deposition will be followed by others. Detailed and indisputable.
The executioner.
Exactly. But not a moralist. This was just a distraction, a joke, a hobby, if you like. Each day I got in deeper, more involved than I've ever been. It wasn't premeditated, though. Each time I changed departments in the hospital, I felt like I was escaping from a sewer, only to fall inevitably into another. That's when I started writing down what I saw. Facts, extortion, brutality. Killings. I was selective. I cataloged the best, one by one, as you do with a stamp collection.
You had fun?
Plenty. It was the only antidote I knew how to use against the boredom and the disgust I felt for everything. I produced the spectacular only for me.
Ideal, some joke. Histrionics that belong on a provincial stage.
But I happen to be stuck on this particular one. So don't make the mistake of thinking I'm likely to get tired of watching the spectacular.
Oh, we're not safe. We're not safe at all, Calogeri. Don't talk about half measures. Extreme maladies, extreme remedies. Every one of you has at least as much to lose as I have.
All right. I agree with you. We defend our prestige.
Other than prestige, I fear for our position.
And all the credit we've earned, devoting our entire lives to good works.
Oh, what prestige, what credit. I'm weighing the possible consequences of a criminal case which, no matter how well it goes, spells ruin for each one of us.
And so, gentlemen, now that the danger is clear, let us decide how to avoid it.
Dr. Giordani, we have an emergency in surgery.
Yeah? I already have 2 operations scheduled for this afternoon. Can't you call Velotti?
No, he hasn't arrived.
Strange. I thought I saw his car in the parking lot. Capeti.
We can't find him either.
Talk about absenteeism. All right, let's go. My gloves, nurse. All right, what do you know about the patient?
Man, 56 years old, who reports that he suffered a hepatitis attack about 20 years ago. An emergency case. Copious vomiting of blood.
Laboratory?
The CBC shows 1 million red cells, and we've done a straight picture of the liver that's like a textbook illustration.
When was he admitted?
About an hour ago.
Anything else?
He's had 2 units of blood, but he's not responding satisfactorily.
How the hell could anybody survive with a liver like that? Well, let's have the water, nurse. You ready? Can we begin?
Yes, of course. But you know he's a 90% surgical risk, don't you?
Scalpel. All right, dry him. Coagulate. Come on, dry him. I can't see a thing. Coagulate. Scalpel. Pressure, pulse.
100/70, 110.
Kelly. Dry him, coagulate. Come on, open him more, will you? Pressure.
90/70.
Coagulate. Coagulate. Open wider. Clamp. Come on, clamp. All right, coagulate. Dry him. Change that tampon. Can't you see it's soaked? Pressure, pulse. What's the pulse?
120.
Kelly. Coagulate. What the hell is going on in here? He's obviously a cirrhosis case. There's no sign of it at all. The duodenum is free. Let's have a look at the gallbladder. Pull it, will you? Hold him open. Wider. Dry him.
He's got malignant cysts.
Kelly. Coagulate. Will you change that tampon? How can I see what I'm doing with all that blood? Come on, nurse. Kelly. Coagulate. Come on, suction. Coagulate. How the hell did you tie this mask on?
What's the matter, Giordani? You nervous?
I'll really relax now that I know you're here. Scalpel. Open him. I said hold him open. Cystic clamp.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Save the lecture for later, Professor. Coagulate. Suction. Open him. What is that?
Eyesight failing?
I'll give you more light.
Don't you feel well?
Wait a minute. Those aren't the x-rays that were up there at the beginning.
You haven't made a mistake, have you?
Somebody must have switched them.
What are you suggesting?
The patient's hemorrhaging, Giordani.
Forceps. I asked for dressing forceps, not pokers.
Sorry, Doctor, I misunderstood.
Pressure 60, no diastolic. Pulse 140.
What's the matter? Are you quitting?
Give me a Kelly. There. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way! What's the matter with you today? You asleep? Coagulate. Here. I don't understand what's happened. I'm afraid I can't go on with this. Betty, see if there's anything you can do.
He left some time ago to call Professor Valotti.
Hold it open. Wider, wider. Coagulate. Listen, DeLuca, couldn't you?
It's too late.
The heart stopped.
What's going on here? Why didn't you let Betty take over?
He didn't realize what was happening.
He even accused us of switching x-rays on him. He was in no condition to understand what he was doing.
How do you explain that?
He was drunk.
Leave the two of us alone. I'm sorry, but you brought this on yourself. You know what'll happen to you.
Sure. Second-degree murder charge. Or involuntary manslaughter on the testimony of unimpeachable witnesses.
4 to 6 years in jail. And of course it means the end of your career. Isn't that a rather excessive price to pay for your idealism?
It's the poor slobs who have nothing to do with it who pay the highest price in the end. Like this one. Who would have thought that you were capable of going to that length? Cold-blooded murder.
It was necessary.
Gratuitous. A simple test would show that for months I haven't touched alcohol.
Even conceding that possibility, you know perfectly well that there are experts on each side. For the defense and the prosecution. Or do you really still have faith that there is justice beyond influence?
No. No. What do you want?
I want to help you. Yes, help you. Whatever name you want to give to your lack of appetite for life. The fact is, you're a failure. As a man and as a doctor. You've never experienced the pleasure and the joy of real success. You use boredom as an alibi, hoping it'll hide your incompetence, your inability to make something of yourself. But you still have a chance. I'll put you on the staff of the medical school. It means a new start for you. You've never been aware of the fact that just being a doctor implies the use of power. Medicine is power. It makes us giants by the very nature of our function. We can terrorize, reassure, annihilate all hope, restore to life, murder even. Such power is absolute. Also, the modest and the simple ones. There's a small gilded scepter for the small ones. But this will grow as they grow. This scepter, if they learn to use it, will become immense and shining. Like an emperor's. Even brighter. I've seen humans as Lord kneeling on bare stone in tears of smiling. Men's hands imploring as if I were a prophet.
I'll withdraw the charges against you, but not against the others.
Bravo. Bravo. You'll find I'm a valuable ally. I'm able to reverse your position completely by tomorrow.
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but you're no longer able to do anything for anybody. For you, there is no tomorrow. You haven't yet realized that you're no longer on the side of those who profit from pain. You've been so busy polishing your image, you haven't even noticed that you moved across to the other group. Among the tormented, the victimized.
What are you saying?
I'm a nobody, Professor. But it's difficult to miss on this diagnosis. How many times have I seen things fall out of your palsied hand? Your eyes fixed in a frozen stare. The abrupt rigidness of your neck. These are not just symptoms of tiredness. You know very well what it is, don't you? Now you decide whose scepter you're going to kneel to. Who you can put your faith in.
Betty. De Luca. Casati! Loris! Athena! Christian?
Yeah?
This is Daniele Pallotti.
Ah, my dear friend.
Sorry if I woke you up.
No, it's nothing.
I know you've operated on several Parkinsons in Zurich.
Yeah?
The results?
Unfortunately, negative. But we keep trying. Is it a person of importance?
A personal friend.
Send him to me and I look him over.
Yes, if I decide there's any hope.
There's a new drug they're experimenting with.
Yes, I know. Thanks anyway. I apologize.
Nothing. Wiedersehen.
Ciao.
It's nice here, like it said in the folder. The Fraulein is all right, but awful pig-headed. When are you coming, Papa? Remember, you promised.
You haven't yet realized that you're no longer on the side of those who profit from pain. You've moved across to the other group, among the tormented, the victimized.
Daniele, I can't bear to see you like this. Get a hold of yourself, son. With the greatest names in the medical profession would be honored to help you. You have only to choose.